Hiya, welcome to another day of Red January Yoga with me, and today I've got a friend, Martyn Blacklock's along with me. Hiya.
Hi.
What are we going to do?
We're going to do some preparation for headstand today. So I want to stress at the moment that this isn't necessarily something that you need to be able to already do a headstand, and there's certain physical limitations which may prevent people from ever doing a full headstand, but the work is still really important in terms of developing the openness in the shoulders, strength, and some other aspects which we'll go through to help you in your other practice. So I'm really excited to do this. Thank you for asking me.
Pleasure having you. What do we do first?
Okay, well, like I said, for headstand, there is a lot of need to open into the shoulders and also strengthen the muscles around the shoulders as well and the upper back. So I'm not going to get too specific about the particular muscles, etc., because we're going to be using them through the postures no matter what.
Are there any warm-ups I ought to be doing now?
I think what would probably be best to do prior to commencing what we do is a few rounds of sun salutations.
Check, done those.
Good, and maybe some shoulder shrugs as well. And we're going to go through some postures which will actually open the shoulders in lots of different directions as part of what I'm going to do today. So a few rounds of sun salutation should be enough, yeah. Okay, so shall I crack on? Cool.
Go for it. I'm going to put my hair up. You know, it's getting serious. My students know it gets serious when I have to put my hair up. Something's going to happen. Okay. I'm ready. I'm your guinea pig.
Okay then, so first of all, coming into cat posture. So if you just move yourself into all fours, and then from here, tuck your tailbone and round through the upper back, and think about expanding the space behind your heart. Beautiful. Let the chin come towards the chest, and try to push the sternum away from the floor. There we go. So what we're doing here is creating space between the shoulder blades, those often overused muscles where a lot of tension can gather. And this is great for preparation for the headstand because it allows you to understand the need to create space between the shoulder blades, opening up the upper back. It's also a really useful posture here to start engaging your core. So thinking about drawing the belly button up and in towards the spine. And as you do, you'll feel those deep muscles contract. Holding for 5 breaths when you do. So keeping the breath steady and even. It can help to count the breath, which is also useful for quietening the mind. And this is the first posture that actually gets you used to being upside down. That is where the head is lower than the heart. And just break in the posture when you're ready. Beautiful. Okay, just doing what you need to ease out there. From there, we're then going to come into high plank position. So that is with the wrists below the shoulders, and then you can either hold the position with the knees down, or if you're feeling like you've got a bit more strength in you, you can push through the heels and lift the knees. Beautiful. And again, thinking about rounding through the upper back, so breathing into the back of the heart, lifting the sternum away from the floor. Yes. And just making sure that you've not got too much of an arch through the lower back, so that would be where the belly was sinking down. So it really helps, again, to lift that belly button up and in towards the spine. And maybe a slight tuck of the tailbone as well, just to lengthen out the lower back. Perfect. It can also help here to think about drawing the energy up from the wrists into the forearms, just because this can be quite an intense posture for the wrists. And one final cue here is thinking about drawing the thighs towards each other, imagining that you're squeezing a ball there, just to help support you, taking the energy throughout the body, making an overall body strengthening exercise. And just releasing down onto your knees. Take a moment there.
Thank you.
Like you said, it gets serious. Okay, so then from here, what we're going to look to do is explore what it feels like to be upside down a bit more. So moving into downward facing dog position. So taking the palms and pressing the palms into the floor and spreading the fingers. And I'm quite a stickler for having the middle finger pointing forward just to make sure that the alignment is nice and even. And then lifting the hips, straightening the legs, only as much as you can. So some people might find that they need to keep a bend in the knees here. It's absolutely fine. And it can be quite nice to bend and straighten the knees as well, one by one, just paddling those heels to the floor. Thinking here about the from the hands upwards, so moving the forearms in towards the center of the mat. There we go. And then thinking about rotating the upper arms away from the center of the mat. So you've kind of got this in-out movement here, which can be quite confusing the first few times that you do it, but it creates a really strong arm, which means that you're not going to kind of buckle under the weight of your body. And it's really nice here, again, to spread the shoulder blades and allow them to drop down the back, a bit like angel wings, which is quite nice to think of angels while you're in a challenging posture such as downward dog. And again, working on the core strength here as well, so lifting the belly button up and into the spine and a slight tuck of the tailbone just to lengthen out that lower back. So this is a perfect example of an inversion. You get all of the benefits of an inversion here. Whenever you're ready, Caroline, you can come down onto your knees and we can have a chat. So one of the other benefits of inversions is to think about it from a psychological perspective. So I'm a counsellor and I'm always interested in how yoga can help us with our mind work and our emotions. And inversions are really great for thinking about turning things on their head, thinking about things from a different perspective, orienting yourself differently, and how you respond in that way. So it's really important that as well as preparing the body, we actually prepare the mind and the nervous system as well. So getting used to seeing things from a different perspective. And that's so useful in terms of having the ability to be calm in lots of different situations. It's great for anxiety, trusting yourself to be able to hold yourself just as you would the right way up, as you would upside down. So we're going to do a couple more postures now, being upside down. And the one that we're going to do first of all is a wide leg forward fold. So come in onto your feet, and we'll do it facing forwards. So just bringing the feet about a leg's length apart, with the toes slightly inward and pressing through the toes and the outsides of the feet. And that's just to protect the knees, because if we take this position, we can tend to do this, which is really uncomfortable for the knees and not safe as well. Hands on the hips as you do, and as you take a big inhalation, lengthen the spine, and then fold from the hip crease here. Come into a flat back position first of all. From here, taking another in-breath as you lengthen the spine and push the hips back. Exhaling as you fold further down. Just go in as far as you can, and if you can bring the hands onto the floor and you want to, that's fine. So again, we're upside down here. The head's lower than the heart. We're leading with the heart, I always like to think of. And we're also stretching into the backs of the legs and into the inner thighs as well, which is really important for when you work into developing your full headstand, because we need to bring those legs up and together and keep them nice and long. When I talked about drawing the energy, using the different parts of the body to take the energy, by lifting those legs up and having the flexibility to do so, it means that you can draw the energy up out of the arms and the shoulders and the core, spreading it through the body a little more. So just making the overall posture a bit more comfortable to hold. Just taking another breath there, remembering that maintaining a steady and even breath is basically what makes moving yoga. So if we're not breathing, we're not doing yoga, because we'll probably be dead. And when you're ready, just bringing the hands back onto the hips, lifting yourself up to flat back position, and then coming all the way up to standing. And you can heel toe those feet in, just enjoying bringing them together.
Face go like a beetroot.
And of course, all the blood rushing to your head is really healthy actually for the system as well. So kind of tipping something upside down, giving it a bit of a shake and doing it the other way gets the energy moving, and it can feel great.
My brain needs that sometimes.
So we're going to come back down onto the floor and coming onto your knees now, Caroline. And we're just going to do a couple of shoulder opening postures. So first...
Do it this way and then you can see it from both angles.
Yeah, of course. Oh, perfect. So we've done some opening of the back of the body, and there's a couple of other postures that I would have done for that. But so it can be eagle arms, which is really great again for expanding behind the heart space. We won't do that because we've already done some opening there. But I'm more interested in opening through the sides of the body and into the shoulders here as well. So what I like to do is Baddha Hastasana, but bringing the thumbs together and then bringing the arms up above the head, the biceps just coming past the ears if you can, making sure that the core's switched on. So just bringing that belly button up and in and bringing the ribs into the back of the body. As you inhale, pull on the thumbs. You'll feel the arms become active. Reach the arms higher, and then as you exhale, bring the biceps a little further past the ears. Inhaling as you reach up to the ceiling. Keep pulling on those thumbs, exhaling as you take the arms a little further back. So this doesn't look like much, but it's really quite intense. I sometimes like to call it a seated upside down handstand.
It also makes me wonder if I've shaved my armpits today.
They're looking lovely and smooth. One more breath. And release. And then from there, we're going to look at opening up the front of the shoulders as well. So a really nice posture here to do is reverse prayer or variations of. So I'm just going to turn around to, so the back of me is facing the camera. And a few variations of this. So you can just take the arms behind and hold on to the wrists. If you feel like you can reach a bit further up the arms, taking the forearms, or even grabbing both elbows. It's also nice if you have the flexibility to bring the hands into reverse prayer, pushing the little finger side of the palms into behind the heart there. And what we're doing is just bringing those shoulders back slightly. So you've got that posture there. I'm just going to take the forearm version. Again, making sure that the belly button's lifting up and in and the ribs are coming into the back of the body.
I always end up arching I always end up doing that.
And it's really uncomfortable for the back. And actually, you're not using the core here. So if you think about bringing that belly button up and in, you're activating the lower core muscles, and by bringing the ribs into the back of the body, yeah, there we go. So, as you inhale, breathe into the top of the chest. And as you exhale, just press those hands together and take the elbows back slightly. And what we're getting here is a beautiful stretch all the way through the deltoids at the front there.
I feel it in my forearms as well.
Yeah, and it's really great actually to, I'm just going to turn around to face the camera, to activate these because they're in use when you're in your headstand as well. Yeah, so it's quite an intense posture, but it feels really nice actually after doing all of that back body opening to kind of reverse it and open into here as well. And we just have to be careful that the shoulders aren't lifting up, so keeping the shoulders away from the ears, thinking about the shoulders and the ears not being friends. Nice and long in the neck. One more breath here. And release. Okay, just give everything a little bit of a shake.
Oh yeah, feel that there.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to start preparing for your headstand.
Now, I think I told you this off camera, but I'm not brilliant at doing forearm headstands. Can do it in a tripod, no problem, but the classic way, so maybe you can help.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said at the beginning, it's not necessarily about moving into the full expression of the posture. You still get all of the benefits, even if you're not able to lift up fully and hold the posture. And actually, it's great because that's where your work is, that's where your growth and your development is. So, for me, not being able to do a posture is a wonderful opportunity for you to grow. These aren't limitations, they're opportunities to grow. Okay, so if you could bring yourself onto your knees, and then what we're going to do first of all is bring the elbows onto the floor, and then grab hold of the shoulders. There we go. So you're going to see there that the elbows are closer together than the shoulders. The reason that I get you to do this is because when we're actually pressing down through the forearms, the elbows spread to almost shoulder height anyway. So it's just quite a nice way to get them in position beforehand. We're then going to bring the fingers together to create a cradle. And I'm just going to go up to the camera and show people what that looks like. Here we go. And we're going to bring the crown of the head, which is round about where your ponytail is there, into the centre of this cradle. So just beneath the ponytail. There we go. Well, beneath now because you're upside down. Now, you should be able to see through past the knees there. If you're gazing to the mat beneath your chin, then the head's in, well, it's going to be in a really uncomfortable position. And if you're gazing up towards your chest or your belly button, then, of course, it's about repositioning the head. And from here, ideally, your head, the top of your head, would just be skimming the floor. So you can achieve that by pressing through the forearms and breathing into the back of the heart and lifting that sternum. And you should find that automatically the head lifts up as well, but you're not lifting the head, you're actually lifting through the shoulders there. So a nice little exercise to do here to prepare you is actually inhaling as you breathe and lift the shoulders. Say no with the head. There we go, and pop it back down. Lovely. So doing maybe 5 rounds of that, just to help you understand which muscles to engage. Okay, so it's going to be these upper back muscles, the serratus anterior, which actually pull the shoulder blades forward, the lats to a certain degree, and all of these muscles of the rotator cuff as well, and your traps. So there's loads going on here. So this is headstand. Well done, you've done it.
Yay!
However, we can move into more challenging variations of headstand. First of all, by lifting the knees and pushing through the heels, coming into a forearm plank with the head down. And yeah, then working up. Yeah, so you can do the bum down or the bum lifted version. From here, just trying to, again, lift the shoulders. There we go. And say no with the head. Perfect, coming down. So maybe doing 5 rounds there. Depending on how that feels, if you feel like you need a bit more, then what you can do is start to walk the feet closer to the head. And this is where that flexibility of the backs of the legs really comes into play. So from here, again, you can come down if you need a little rest.
2 seconds.
2 seconds.
Hang on. Go through the process here.
This is the endurance athlete in me, isn't it? Keep going.
I'm back.
Trust your body to know when to take a rest. So when you're ready, just lifting the bum and straightening the legs. And so from here, what we want to do is look as much as possible at bringing the hips over the shoulders so you get this straight line, walking in even further if you can. Beautiful. Okay, so the hips are pretty much over the shoulders there. Would you try just that pressing down through the forearms and seeing if you can lift into the shoulders again, with the head slightly coming off the floor? How's that feeling? Yeah. Okay, so what we can do from here is lift one leg and bring it up above the hips, bent first of all, seeing how it feels to now try to lift the other leg using the core strength. And I can stabilise you a little here if you like. There we go. Playing with the balance there, maybe switching the legs. So bringing the other leg forward and the other one back. Trying it the other way. Noticing which side feels stronger, which one feels like it needs more work. And from here, starting to straighten those legs. Beautiful. Pressing down through the forearms. Spreading the shoulder blades. Well done.
This is when my face is going to be like a beetroot.
And just coming into child's pose first of all. So another very mild inversion. This posture just as important as the actual headstand as well. Staying here until you feel everything settled back down and actually enjoying what you've just done there. So enjoying the feeling of the energy moving around your body, being tipped upside down and then changing it gradually more into a neutral position, and only when you feel ready, lifting back up. Okay, how was that for you?
For me, as I say, I struggle with my forearms. My elbows lift off, so when I'm practicing myself, I have another mat and roll that up under my elbows. So I've got something to, because I really struggle. I don't know whether it's the length of my arms or what, but I really struggle pressing my forearms into the floor in that position. So as you say, it's just, so I practice. When I first started doing it, I had quite a big roll under my elbows, and then slowly trying to make that smaller and smaller until I get the hang of being able to press onto my forearms. But yeah, for some reason, that's just a really challenging one for me.
Yeah, and how great that you've got that to work on, you know, for all these months, years, whatever. So I just wanted to add a note that if anyone does have any cervical spine issues, then it's really important that you don't do any of the postures there where the head was actually connected with the floor, because what that does is creates a pressure on the neck, and it's not great. And that's one of the reasons why I like to teach headstand this way, where actually the head is skimming the floor, so there's no pressure. It's actually decompression because the head's hanging, the spine's hanging. But until you have that real strength through the shoulders, through the upper back, it's impossible to do that, because it's effectively a forearm stand, which is great and is totally safe for the neck as long as you have the strength. But 90% of what we've done today can be done with neck issues because the head isn't actually in contact with the floor. So
I think, well, can I just demonstrate what I mean by the other kind of headstand?
Absolutely, go for it.
There's a tripod headstand as well that you can do, where instead of your forearms, it's your hands, sort of making, I call it tripod because it is really, it's that steadying thing there. So for me, for some reason, this is much easier than the other kind. And it's exactly the same principle as Martyn was just saying, of getting to that point where you find that straight spine, so your balance is there. And then, I'm not sure if I can talk while I'm doing it. For some reason, I have absolutely no problem with that whatsoever. But when my forearms are involved. So it's interesting, is it, whether it's shoulder strength, perhaps, whether my core strength's there, but my shoulder strength isn't, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wonder also psychologically.
Yeah, I'm telling myself I can't do it, so I can't. Maybe.
Because you looked so confident and strong and controlled in that. And actually everything is there. So there should be not no reason, but it's there's other things going on than your strength, because it's clearly there. So yeah, but every variation is there so that you can find one that works for you. But ultimately, it's about the benefits that the posture provides, and actually most of the benefits that are available in downward dog you get from your headstand. Even this one here that you were doing earlier, you get the decompression of the spine, the thing's being tipped upside down, you get the work that you need to do on your strength through pressing through the forearms and working the shoulders and opening the shoulders, the core's still working. So, it's not that one's better than the other, it's the benefits that you get from it. It's making it your posture. That's yoga.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming in today.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Will you come back again?
I will.
Yay. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Happy headstands.